Join me as I dive into this crazy story where a girl unknowingly battles a powerful enemy of the Alpha King while discovering she's actually his fated mate. What happens when an unsuspecting girl faces off against a powerful enemy of the Alpha King, unaware that she holds a destined connection to him? This is the story of Maya Chen, a 23-year-old who thought she was completely human until the night everything changed. In the supernatural world, fated mates are the rarest and most powerful bonds that can exist between wolves. It's more than love. It's recognition on a soul level, an instant connection that transcends logic. When true mates find each other, their combined strength becomes formidable. But what happens when fate has a twisted sense of timing and mates meet in the midst of war? Maya had always been different. Growing up in the small mountain town of Crescent Falls, she'd experienced strange dreams, unexplained strength, and senses sharper than anyone around her. But her adoptive parents had told her she was special, gifted, nothing more. They'd kept her isolated from the supernatural community that thrived in the shadows of their town, never explaining why certain people watched her with knowing eyes, why some avoided her entirely. 3 days ago, everything Maya thought she knew shattered. Her adoptive father lay dying, and with his last breaths, he confessed the truth. Maya wasn't human. She was a dormant wolf, hidden away since infancy, for her own protection. Her real parents had been slaughtered in a territorial war, and Maya had been smuggled out as a baby. Her wolf suppressed by ancient magic to keep her hidden from those who'd want her dead. "Your 23rd birthday breaks the suppression," her father had wheezed, gripping her hand with desperate strength. "When the full moon rises, you'll awaken, and when you do, he'll find you. Marcus Thornwood, the one who killed your parents. He's been searching for you for 23 years because you're the key to something he wants, power that runs in your bloodline." Her father died before he could explain more, leaving Maya terrified and alone. She'd considered running, disappearing into the human world where supernatural threats couldn't reach her. But Crescent Falls was her home. The people here, human and supernatural alike, were her community. And if this Marcus Thornwood wanted to use her for some dark purpose, she'd be damned if she let him threaten everyone she cared about. So Maya stayed. She researched everything she could find about werewolves, about territorial wars, about the name Marcus Thornwood. What she discovered chilled her blood. Marcus was a rogue alpha, one who'd been building power for decades through conquest and dark magic. He controlled territory across 3 states, ruled through fear and violence, and had a particular obsession with collecting wolves with rare bloodlines. The full moon rose on Maya's 23rd birthday, and the awakening hit her like lightning. Pain exploded through her body as the suppression spell shattered. Her bones reformed, her senses magnified 100-fold, and something wild and powerful surged to life inside her consciousness. Her wolf. It was terrifying and exhilarating. This sudden awareness of a part of herself she'd never known existed. But Maya didn't have time to adjust. The moment her wolf awakened, she felt eyes on her, predators closing in. Marcus's scouts had been watching Crescent Falls, waiting for exactly this moment. Within an hour, they attacked. Maya's instincts took over. She didn't know how to fight as a wolf, but her body seemed to know what her mind didn't. She met the first attacker with claws she didn't know she could extend, with speed that shouldn't be possible. The scout went down hard, but 3 more took his place. They herded her away from town, away from innocent people who'd be caught in the crossfire. Maya ran, her new wolf form reveling in the speed and power, even as terror clawed at her chest. She was outnumbered, untrained, and facing enemies who'd been hunting her since before she could walk. She made her stand in a clearing, her back to a cliff face so they couldn't surround her. 5 of Marcus's wolves circled, their eyes glowing with predatory hunger. The largest one, a scarred brute with cruel eyes, smiled as he shifted to human form. "The lost Chen heir," he drawled. "Marcus has been looking for you for a very long time. You're going to make him very happy." "I'm not going anywhere with you," Maya snarled, surprised by the authority in her own voice. "You don't have a choice, sweetheart." The scarred wolf gestured, and his packmates moved closer. "We can do this easy or hard, but either way, you're coming with us." Maya's wolf surged forward with fury she'd never experienced as a human. She wasn't going to be taken. Wasn't going to be used as a weapon or a tool or whatever Marcus wanted her for. If she was going down, she was going down fighting. The battle was brutal and one-sided. Maya managed to take down one attacker through sheer, desperate fury, but the others overwhelmed her with coordinated attacks. She felt ribs crack, tasted blood, knew she was seconds from capture or death. Then the air pressure changed. Every wolf in the clearing froze, their heads snapping toward the forest. Maya felt it too, a presence so powerful it made her newly awakened wolf instincts scream danger and something else. Something that felt like recognition. He emerged from the tree line like vengeance incarnate, massive even in human form, with dark hair and eyes that glowed silver in the moonlight. His power rolled off him in waves that made Marcus's wolves cower and whimper. Maya's wolf reacted instantly, surging toward him with desperate recognition, even as her human mind struggled to understand what she was feeling. Mine. The word echoed through her consciousness. Mate. The newcomer's eyes locked on Maya, and she saw his pupils dilate, saw shock and recognition and fierce possessiveness flash across his features in rapid succession. Then his gaze shifted to Marcus's wolves, and his expression went cold as death. "You dare attack what's mine." His voice was quiet, but it carried the weight of absolute authority. "On my territory?" The scarred wolf tried to bluster. "We're on neutral ground. We have every right." "You have no rights the moment you touched her." The stranger moved with supernatural speed, and suddenly the scarred wolf was pinned against a tree, claws at his throat. "Tell Marcus Thornwood that Damon Blackthorn says his hunt ends here. The Chen heir is under my protection. Anyone who touches her answers to me. Damon Blackthorn." Maya's pain-fogged mind struggled to place the name, then understanding hit. The Alpha King, ruler of the largest pack territory in North America, known for being ruthless in defense of what was his, and he'd just claimed her. Marcus's wolves fled, dragging their wounded leader with them. The moment they were gone, Damon was beside Maya, his hands gentle despite his earlier violence. "Easy," he murmured as she tried to pull away. "You're hurt. Let me help." "I don't need help from someone who thinks he can claim me like property," Maya bit out, even as her wolf purred at his proximity. Damon's lips quirked in what might have been amusement. "Fair point. Let me rephrase. You're my fated mate, which I realize you probably don't understand yet given how newly awakened you are. You're also injured and in shock. Will you please let me make sure you're not bleeding out before we have the argument about my possessive declarations?" Maya wanted to argue more, but pain was making her vision gray at the edges. She nodded reluctantly, and Damon scooped her up with surprising gentleness. The moment his skin touched hers, something electric passed between them. The mate bond her wolf supplied helpfully, recognition and connection that transcended logic. Damon carried her to a house on the outskirts of Crescent Falls. Apparently he'd been staying nearby, though Maya had no idea why. He set her on a couch and examined her injuries with competent hands, his touch clinical but careful. 3 cracked ribs, extensive bruising, and a gash on your arm that needs stitches, he assessed. "You fought well for someone who just awakened. Most new wolves would have been overwhelmed immediately." "They were trying to kidnap me," Maya said through gritted teeth as he cleaned the gash. "Didn't really have a choice." "No, you didn't." Damon's expression went dark. "Marcus Thornwood has been hunting you since you were an infant. Your parents died protecting you from him. The fact that you survived this long is a miracle." "My adoptive father told me." right before he died. Maya blinked back tears. But he didn't explain why Marcus wants me specifically. Just that I have power he wants to use. Damon was quiet for a long moment as he bandaged her arm. The Chen bloodline carries old magic. Your ancestors could manipulate pack bonds, could compel loyalty and obedience from other wolves. It's a rare and dangerous gift. Marcus collects wolves with rare abilities, forces them into his pack, and uses their powers to strengthen his own position. So I'm just a tool to him, another ability to add to his collection. Maya's voice was bitter. To him, yes. Damon cupped her face, forcing her to meet his eyes. To me, you're my fated mate, the other half of my soul, and I will burn down anyone who tries to hurt you. The intensity in his gaze should have scared her. Instead, Maya felt something inside her chest unfurl with warmth. You don't even know me. I know everything that matters. My wolf recognized yours the moment I saw you. The rest is just details we'll learn together. Damon's thumb brushed her cheek. But I understand this is overwhelming. You just awakened, you were attacked, and now some alpha you've never met is claiming you're his mate. We can take this slow. Can we? Maya asked, because her wolf was screaming to close the distance between them, to claim and be claimed. Because everything I'm feeling right now doesn't feel slow. Damon's expression heated. No, it doesn't. The mate bond doesn't follow human courtship timelines, but I won't push you into anything you're not ready for. They sat in charged silence, the mate bond humming between them with magnetic pull. Maya knew she should be cautious, should take time to process everything, but she'd just discovered she wasn't human. Had been attacked by enemies who'd murdered her parents and had found a mate who looked at her like she was his entire world. Caution seemed pointless in the face of that. I'm not ready for slow, Maya admitted. I'm ready for answers, for training, for understanding what I am and how to protect the people I care about. Then that's what you'll get. Damon stood, offering his hand. Stay here tonight. Tomorrow we'll start your training, and I'll explain everything about the supernatural world you were kept from. Maya took his hand, and the contact sent sparks racing up her arm. And the mate bond? We'll figure that out together. Damon pulled her close, and Maya went willingly. But fair warning, I'm possessive, protective, and not good at sharing. If that's going to be a problem, tell me now. Maya should have bristled at the warning. Instead, she found herself smiling. Good thing my wolf seems just as possessive. We're going to be a nightmare together. Damon laughed, the sound rich and genuine. I'm counting on it. The next 2 weeks were a crash course in everything supernatural. Damon taught Maya to shift at will rather than letting emotion trigger it. He showed her how to fight, how to use her enhanced senses strategically, how to channel the power that ran in her bloodline. And between training sessions, they learned each other. Damon was 30 years old, had been Alpha King for 7 years, and carried the weight of his position with grim determination. He was ruthless when protecting what was his, but surprisingly gentle with Maya. He had a dry sense of humor that caught her off guard, a sharp intelligence that matched hers, and a possessive streak a mile wide that should have annoyed her, but instead made her feel treasured. Maya discovered she was stronger than she'd imagined. The power Damon had mentioned, the ability to manipulate pack bonds, was real. She could sense the connections between pack members, could strengthen or weaken them with concentration. It was intoxicating and terrifying, knowing she carried that kind of influence. Your parents refused to use their power offensively, Damon explained one evening as they sat on his porch watching the sunset. They believed it was a gift meant for healing pack bonds, not controlling them. Marcus wanted them to use it to help him dominate other alphas. When they refused, he killed them and spent 23 years hunting you. And now he knows I'm awake. He'll come for me. It wasn't a question. He will. Damon confirmed. "But he'll have to go through me first, and I don't lose, Maya, not when it comes to protecting what's mine." There was that possessiveness again, wrapping around Maya like a warm blanket. The mate bond had strengthened every day until she could feel Damon's emotions as echoes of her own, until being apart felt wrong in a fundamental way. "I love you," Maya said abruptly, the words spilling out before she could second-guess them. "I know it's been 2 weeks, and that's insane, but I do. You gave me everything, safety, knowledge, a place to belong." Damon turned to her, his silver eyes blazing with emotion. "I love you too. From the moment I saw you fighting off those wolves, bloody and brave and refusing to surrender, you're magnificent, Maya Chen. And you're mine." He kissed her then, and Maya lost herself in sensation. His lips claimed hers with heated possession, and the mate bond roared between them, urging them toward completion. They made it to his bedroom in a tangle of desperate touches and shed clothes, and when they finally came together, the bond clicked into place with an almost audible snap. Maya felt Damon in her mind, in her heart, like a constant warm presence. She could sense his fierce love, his absolute determination to keep her safe, his pride in her strength, and she knew he could feel her emotions too, her love, her trust, her certainty that this was exactly where she was meant to be. Afterward, wrapped in his arms, Maya felt peace for the first time since her awakening. "What happens now?" "Now we prepare," Damon said seriously. "Marcus will challenge me for you. It's inevitable. And when he does, we'll be ready." The challenge came 3 days later. Marcus Thornwood sent formal notice that he was invoking old law, trial by combat for rights to the Chen heir. Either Damon fought him, or Maya would be considered unprotected and fair game for claiming. "I could fight him myself," Maya said as they reviewed the challenge in Damon's office. "You could," Damon agreed, "and you might even win. You're stronger than Marcus realizes. But if you fight and lose, you'll be at his mercy with no one to protect you. If I fight and lose—" He pulled her close. "Well, that's not going to happen." The arena was packed with wolves from multiple territories, all gathered to witness the challenge. Maya stood at the edge, her heart in her throat as Damon and Marcus faced each other in the center. Marcus was large and battle-scarred, radiating the kind of power that came from decades of violence. But Damon was the alpha king for a reason. The fight was brutal. Marcus fought dirty, using every trick he'd learned in years of conquest. But Damon was faster, stronger, and fighting for something more important than power. He was fighting for his mate. Maya felt every hit through their bond, felt his determination and his love keeping him focused. When Damon finally pinned Marcus, claws at his throat, the outcome was never in doubt. "Yield," Damon commanded. Marcus spat blood. "The Chen girl is too powerful to leave unclaimed. If not me, someone else will come for her. Then they'll meet the same end you're about to if you don't yield." Damon's claws pressed deeper. "Last chance." "I yield," Marcus snarled. The crowd erupted as Damon released him and returned to Maya's side. She threw herself into his arms, checking him for injuries, even as relief flooded through her. "You're insane," she told him. "He could have killed you." "Not a chance." Damon kissed her fiercely. "I told you, I don't lose when it comes to you." In the weeks that followed, Maya's life transformed completely. She officially joined Damon's pack as his Luna, underwent the rituals that bound her to them as both leader and family. She continued developing her abilities, learning to use her power to strengthen pack bonds and help resolve conflicts, and she fell deeper in love with Damon every day. He was demanding and possessive, but also supportive and proud of her growing strength. He never tried to control her power or limit her potential. Instead, he encouraged her to become everything she could be. 6 months after her awakening, Maya stood beside Damon as they addressed their pack. She wore the Luna's circlet with pride, her hand clasped in Damon's, and looked out at wolves who'd become family. "I started this journey thinking I was human," Maya said, "thinking I was nobody special. I've learned that we're all more than we realize, stronger, braver, more capable of handling what life throws at us." She squeezed Damon's hand. "And we're always better when we don't face challenges alone." The pack howled their agreement, and Maya felt the bonds connecting them all pulse with strength. She'd gone from isolated and ignorant to powerful and connected, from thinking she had no family to being surrounded by pack who'd die for her. And most importantly, she'd found her mate, the alpha who'd claimed her without hesitation, who'd fought for her, who loved her with an intensity that still took her breath away. Damon pulled her close as the ceremony concluded. "Any regrets?" Maya smiled up at him. "Not a single one. You? Just that I didn't find you sooner." He kissed her softly. "But we have forever now. That's enough." It was more than enough. It was everything. So there you have it. The incredible story of how Maya unknowingly battled the Alpha King's enemy and discovered she was his fated mate in the process. The journey from human to wolf, from isolated to pack, from stranger to soulmate. If you enjoyed this tale of destiny and determination, I'd love to hear what you think in the comments. What moment surprised you most? And don't forget to subscribe to Kismet Publishing for more stories of fated mates, supernatural battles, and love that transcends all obstacles. Until next time, may your own destiny find you when you least expect it.